All right, we're almost there. We've almost reached the centre of the gin universe. We're almost all the way down the gin hole, and now it's time for that weird one I've kept alluding to. And it's, as you might have guessed, it's time for Sloe Gin, which Dave has just educated himself on. And the only fact I remember, it's the only gin that can carry its name and not be referred to as a liqueur, which it otherwise would be classified as.
Well, it's the only gin liqueur you can still call gin and not gin liqueur per se. This is a very sweet concoction made from gin, of course, sloe berries, a uniquely tart plum relative, and a bit of sugar. The berries get pricked and punctured, popped in a jar of some sugar, topped up with gin, and left to do their thing, bar the occasional turn to mix the contents, for a period of months.
So this is local again. This is by curiosity. And apologies, I can't remember off the top of my head where they're based, but they are a New Zealand producer of various spirits, but primarily gin.
Yeah.
So they know what they're doing with this sort of stuff, and my goodness, that's dark. There's another wrinkle on this one in that it is a Pinot barrel aged.
Yes,
so,
probably a New Zealand Pinot Noir barrel.
Yeah.
We do make some phenomenal Pinot Noir here.
Not necessarily aged, I think it's just that's where it did its steeping with the sloe berries.
I'd call that aging. I'm willing to give it that. Yeah. Typically, Sloe Gin is anywhere from 15 to 30% ABV. In the EU, it's got to be 25. Here, this one is 27.
27, so safe, very safe. Safe anywhere in the world for this one. So yeah, Sloe Gin, a weird sort of dog leg of gin that somehow found its way into officialdom somewhere. It must have been, I mean, it's massively niche now. There must have been a point in time in Britain there where Sloe Gin would have been pretty ubiquitous to get its own classification, much like Old Tom and so on and so on.
So you've got to preserve sloe berries to make them edible in the first place, so why not preserve them in gin? Then, well, what do we do with all this gin? Well, let's drink it.
I suppose. Yeah, sloe berries, they're their own odd curiosity. Go and look them up. They're quite weird. To look at them, they look like they're like a proto-plum. They grow like black currants, but they kind of look like blueberries and apparently taste a bit like sour plums. Strange, very strange. Not common here in New Zealand at all.
Yes, of course, of all the gin liqueurs out there, I'm sure there are many, this is the only one you can simply call Sloe Gin, not gin liqueur.
Dear, you know, we were just off camera talking about Korean plum wine, and holy moly.
Whoa, that is a very medicinal aroma. I've had Sloe Gin before, but never one that's been aged in a wine barrel, to my knowledge.
That smells of marzipan. No beating around this bush. That smells of almond essence. So, I don't actually know if sloe berries, plums are stone fruit. Do they have a stone? Because this smells of...
It's also a kind of a plum. So
This smells like, just in Korean plum wine, you get not the... you probably a little bit, but not enough to hurt you. You get the cyanide out of the kernel of the stone that's in there. Seeps all the way through into your spirit if you steep them for long enough, which you typically do. And so you get that wonderfully... or not, depending on your relationship with marzipan and almond essence. My partner, she hates it, can't even smell it. But it does remind me of disappointingly iced Christmas cakes. But otherwise, I don't dislike it. But that is so strong in here that's got to be the case, right? They've got to be stone fruit.
But I'm going for a barrel-aged gin. I prefer Pinot barrels because you get the rich colour and also the amazing flavours. This one, you obviously got the colour there, but then again, Sloe Gin is going to be pretty bold and vivid to begin with.
Ooh, that's really nice. I was expecting something tangy, but this is real jammy.
Yeah, the wine barrel has added a wildly tannic, savoury hit to that.
Well, I'd love to know how much sugar they put in there. That's thick. That's that's really giving me the dribbles. That's holy moly. I think there is a lot of sugar in here. We're talking, to use a wine term, grams per litre. I think we're going over 100 on this one. I think this is...
and yet, despite that, I think the combination of the naturally sharp tasting fruit the dry wine properties of the barrel means this is not an overwhelmingly sweet, sugary liqueur. Yeah. So this is still quite a
Because no, I'm not calling this too sweet by any means. I think this is quite well balanced because you still get that prick of the acid in there.
It has a very thick, very viscous, heavy weight to it.
Right, boy, it is.
Yeah.
The touchstone here is definitely Korean plum wine, only much stronger, obviously. But so I think the way to go with this one is going to be with ice. I don't think tonic water should enter the equation here. I think it would be in the steak because this is a sweet thing, and I think adding bitter to it there'd be a clash. Yeah. So and certainly if anyone's motioning towards making a martini with this, then you should stop and reconsider how you got there, because that's not the application for this at all. I think this is just
maybe pop it in an espresso martini somehow to make a very bonkers statement, but
if you wanted to mix this, and this is a deep pick here, if one is, as I am, a fan of a Black Forest Manhattan, substitute this for the creme de menthe, and you might have yourself an experience, but that remains untested. So if anyone's done that, then let me know the results, and because it may be a while till I've got the ingredients to make a Manhattan again. Actually, I think I do. I'm really only missing the whiskey, well, and now the gin, but we'll see how we go. Anyway, that's a tangent. I think probably in a nice long tumbler with ice in summer is probably the ideal for this one.
That icy cool has stripped away some of the more complex flavours and bits and really refined down what you're tasting, and it's just such a clear, sharp hit.
And it's brought even closer to Korean plum wine. Get yourself some Korean barbecue, and this will be you're set. You're done. Yeah. Done for the afternoon. Versatile, I think this is. This I thought was going to be, because I read the Pinot aged, and it made me think of all the just wretched barrel-aged gins I've tried over the years, and there's something about, maybe it's the vanilla compound when it goes into gin, I don't know, but I've just found them so awful, and I thought, oh no, it's going to be one of these, but it's going to be sweet as well. It's just going to be a punch to the gut, in addition to a punch to somewhere else. It's going to be twice as bad, not twice as nice, but this is really good. The barrel. The barrel sort of effect is light. It's very, very light. You get a little bit of that Pinot-ishness, bit of strawberry, bit of raspberry, but you don't get any oak. I'm not detecting any oak in here, which is, I think, a good thing. I think when oak collides with gin, I'm out.
This is still impressively different from Sloe Gin. It's familiar, it's reminiscent, but it's got big points of difference too. Regular Sloe Gin is, in my recollection, heavier, more syrupy, much more sweet. Much fruitier. This, all those wine properties, all the plums, all the dryness too, has really come through.
No, I think this is absolutely tremendous. It's tremendous in such a way that I think if I wanted a lot of this, it's probably going to cost me. But I might have to get some anyway, because that's really, really pretty tremendous stuff. I do not know how wide a footprint, how wide a shadow this casts internationally, how far out their curiosity goes. I know they at least go to Australia, and they probably are not unavailable, but like all New Zealand products, probably pretty niche worldwide. We're not a big country. Interesting though. That's we've had a lot of surprises on our journey down the gin hole, but this is probably the biggest for me. I thought this was going to be my easy least favourite. I thought I just hate this one and wouldn't have to justify my position, because I was like, oh, of course this is bad. But no, this is really, really good.
I was expecting a sweet, fruity dessert of a gin, like other Sloe Gins I've had, but no, it's got enough complexity and nuance to really savour it. Same as all these others too. Like it's only been 6 bottles, but it's been a real education.
It's been a trip. You know, the gin hole is long and deep, and takes you through many interesting turns and discoveries. Journey to the centre of the
gin
bottle. Yeah, interesting. Well, I hope that's been of some interest to you watching along. Certainly share your stories of gin disaster, so we don't feel quite so alone. And a new dangerous precedent for the channel: gin drinking. What could possibly go wrong? And thank you to Schweppes for making these lovely, discreet wee G&T cans, which looks much classier than they are. Schweppes is a perfectly good, affordable brand of G&T, which is nonetheless perfectly well a tea
we
anyway. Yeah.
G, they brought the tea.
They brought the tea. Alrighty. Well, we'll be bringing the T and the D next time. By which I mean Tim and Dave. I'll give you the final you want, mate, for this episode, and we'll leave that weird meme behind us. And we'll be back to our standard fare in no time. So I hope everyone's December is steaming along. The family isn't getting too tedious. There's no awful travel plans afoot. And everyone's keeping well and safe. So, thank you for sticking with us. If you've been with us the entirety of the descent of the gin hole, if not, never mind. Glancing blow, probably do you less damage. So we will be right back with something else, a bit more typical. Once I've maybe had a cracker or something. My mouth tastes of so many different things right now. I'm just not. I'm not in a place that I can safely rate a Scotch whisky if one was put in front of me. So we will remedy that and be right back. Thank you for watching.